right now.
FEMA officials begin to assess the damages to homes flooded in areas not yet covered by the federal disaster declaration, what it might take for homeowners to recover. It's been in the planning for years. This morning, a preview of today's groundbreaking on a new high school in Sioux Falls and more on why it's needed. Plus, President Trump tweets overnight a threat to remove millions of people who are in the U.S. illegally beginning next week.
This is KDLT News Today.
We were just admiring the
rendering
of the stairs in the new high school.
I hope it look
Can we go
exactly
back
like
to
that.
school? I would have loved to have gone to a school like that.
You had your own experiences
Yes, I did.
with stairs in school, so why sully
It
those?
was a cold, dark hallway. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank
We
you
had
for joining
concrete
us for
stairs and
KDLT
asbestos
News.
when I was in school.
I'm Carlene Wild. Simon Floss is joining us with that
Yes.
story here. Not
Spoilers.
concrete stairs and asbestos, but news about the groundbreaking happening today in Sioux Falls' newest high school.
Yes.
Aaron Dowden is going to give us a quick check on your forecast.
Weather for that groundbreaking should be pretty fantastic. We have a little bit of rain across northwestern Iowa this morning. Otherwise, we're in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. A lot of numbers on that map. We're going to head for highs in the 70s a little later on today with a chance for rain the farther west you go, Carlene. More on that here in a few more minutes.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Top of your news, family and friends are mourning the death of a 17-year-old boy identified as the victim in a drowning over the weekend. The teen, whose name has not yet been officially released, was kayaking with a 22-year-old friend Saturday evening when both kayaks overturned. Nearby lifeguards at Terrace Park were able to rescue the 22-year-old. Search and rescue teams found the teen's body just before midnight. Police say neither of the kayakers was wearing a life jacket. Now, with this drowning, Game Fish and Parks is just reminding everyone it is state law to have a life vest in a kayak or on a boat at all times. Wearing one could be the difference between life and death. Officials add it is important to check the water levels of the lakes or bodies of waters that you are using and to be prepared, especially with the recent flooding. Also, watch for currents and how fast they are moving. A disaster recovery center is now open in Sioux Falls following winter and spring severe weather. It is located at Southeast Tech on North Career Avenue and is open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Representatives are also on hand for things like disaster unemployment and crisis counseling. Homeowners, renters, and business owners should register before visiting, and you can do that online at disasterassistance.gov through the FEMA mobile app or by calling the number on your screen. A reminder, not all counties in South Dakota do qualify right now for individual assistance under the federal disaster declaration that most of the state is under. That could change, though, with water levels going down. FEMA officials are going right now door to door and assessing water damage in the areas currently off the list. They include Brookings, Kingsbury, Hamlin, and Turner counties. Monday, they were talking with residents around Lake Ponset. With many vacation homes in that area, FEMA is first focusing, though, on primary or residential homes. Once all of the data is collected, FEMA is going to hand it over to the state, and the state will decide if they'd like to pursue a disaster declaration for those counties. Overcrowding has been an issue in the Sioux Falls school system for years. Officials think they may finally have found at least one answer to the problem. Simon Floss is joining us this morning with more. Simon.
Yeah, good morning, Carlene. So the superintendent of Sioux Falls Schools, Brian Maher, is with us this morning, and this is a big day for you guys. This is the groundbreaking of the brand new high school that was announced, and let's just talk about the need and why build, and specifically why build here.
Yeah, well, great question. Good morning.
Morning.
The need, really, I think, is pretty simple for anybody that's been around Sioux Falls for any length of time. We haven't built a new high school since the early 1990s, and we've continued to grow by about 200 to 500 students annually since that period of time. So at some point in time, you're going to need new buildings. At this point in time, it's time for a new high school.
And so you guys serve basically 24,000 students roughly throughout the year, and overcrowding. How will this new school rectify that?
Yeah, we have Washington, Jefferson, and Lincoln High School, as well as New Tech High School right now to house our high school students. So if you take another high school and put that into the mix, it should actually take some of that student population out of each of those high schools and make those high schools manageable, those buildings very functional for years to come, and move some of that population into Jefferson High School.
Karlene, we did just run out of time, but we'll have a lot more coming up as we continue throughout KDLT News Today at 6 a.m. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio, reporting live in Sioux Falls. Simon Floss, KDLT News.
All right, fantastic, Simon. Thank you very much to both you and Dr. Maher out there this morning. We are going to get a check on the forecast and just what it looks like for those heading out there. Hopefully, it's just going to be beautiful. The sunrise this morning.
It was gorgeous. You had
Stunning.
pinks and purples and maroons.
It was just like a watercolor painting.
It was like Bob Ross was just painting a happy little sunrise out there. It was.
Well, maybe you can repaint it in your words.
Oh, I was
for
gonna
everyone.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old could paint better than I can. That's definitely true. It is a gorgeous start to the morning out there. You saw the sunrise in Simon's live shot there. We're going to top out right around 75 a little later on today in the Sioux Falls area, and I think we're going to be staying dry too. It's going to be, close to 70 by the time they have the groundbreaking there over on the northwest side of town. 75 later on today in Aberdeen. You should stay dry as well. Pierre, we could see a couple of sprinkles and maybe a rumble of thunder a little later on this afternoon into the evening hours. 75 for you as well. We're in the 40s, 50s, and 60s here this morning. 48 in Huron, 47 in Watertown, but we've dropped to 59 in Sioux Falls, 64 right now in Yankton, 50 in the capital. Wind speed under 10 miles per hour for everybody. The wind should stay fairly light as we go through the day. We're going to see the rain in northwestern Iowa get on out of here this morning with chances for showers and thunderstorms in central South Dakota a little later on today. Plenty of sunshine, plenty of stars as we head into the overnight hours the farther east you go. And then as we round out the rest of the week, we're really going to see chances of rain increase starting Wednesday night and then to Thursday, Friday, and again on Saturday, chances for some rain. After that, though, we should dry out a little bit with temperatures close to 80 over the weekend, Karlene.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. The U.S. is building its case that Iran attacked 2 commercial tankers in a critical Persian Gulf shipping route last week. U.S. Central Command reports they have photographs of Iranian Revolutionary Guards removing an unexploded mine from the side of the Japanese tanker, plus pieces of the mine that were attached by nails and magnets, even handprints that they left behind. NBC's Richard Engel has the latest from London.
The U.S. and Iran are trading accusations and escalating their rhetoric over who attacked 2 tankers in the Persian Gulf. The U.S. military released what could be damning evidence, aerial reconnaissance video, which U.S. officials say shows Iranian sailors removing an unexploded mine from one of the attacked tankers, apparently to hide Iran's involvement. And this photo showing where the alleged mine was placed. President Trump called in to Fox News to say the Iranians were caught red-handed.
Well, Iran did do it, and you know they did it because you saw the boat. I guess one of the mines didn't explode, and it's probably got essentially Iran written all over it.
But the Japanese owner of one of the tankers insists his vessel was attacked not by a mine, but some kind of fast-moving explosive, which is how rescue ships first reported the attacks.
All station. Motor tanker front Altair in fire, most probably torpedo attack.
Iran says it was not involved. NBC's Ali Arouzi is in Tehran.
Iran is ruling out any talks with the US, blaming America for seriously threatening stability in the region. With so much animosity and an absence of dialogue, the odds of conflict by accident is increasing every day.
Tonight, tensions remain high. A U.S. military official said Iran was preventing tugboats from recovering one of the tankers.
And then in what seems to be a dangerous game of brinksmanship, Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan just announced that he has approved a request from U.S. Central Command for approximately 1,000 additional troops for force protection in the Middle East. He says it's a response to recent Iranian attacks and ongoing threats from the country. Richard Engel, NBC News, London.
That is the latest as we know it. The Today Show, of course, going to have much more on this later this morning. In the meantime, our question of the day.
What exotic pet did President Calvin Coolidge spend 3 months with in the Black Hills? An exotic pet. I'm guessing an ostrich or an emu. Just because I want to say emu. Do you say emu or emu?
I think emu.
Is it? I've heard people say emu. I just like emu.
Do they just have a really bad Midwestern accent?
I have no idea. It could also be I wasn't paying attention at all, too.
All right, that's our question of the day. It's on our Facebook page. Give us your best guess.
Tiger.
There's so much more fun than looking up the answer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like emu.
Good luck. Have fun. That question is from our crew, by the way, this morning. Ahead, the president prepares for a big announcement about his re-election and the celebration soon to get underway in anticipation. It is 6:10. We're back in 2 minutes.
Today's ag markets are brought to you by Touchstone Energy.
Welcome back. Some national headlines. The president is expected to officially kick off his re-election campaign tonight in Orlando, Florida. Supporters have been lining up and camping out in anticipation of the president's arrival. The president's going to be joined by the First Lady Melania, the Vice President Mike Pence, and Second Lady Karen Pence. The kickoff will feature an all-day 45 Fest with food, live music, and giant screens. For the president, there are few paths to victory in 2020, by the way, that do not include winning Florida's 29 electoral votes. Mayor in Phoenix is calling for a community meeting today to discuss an incident getting a lot of national attention right now. Back in May, police pulled a gun on this family, arresting a pregnant woman and her fiancé over reports of a stolen doll. A bystander caught the incident on video. The couple is suing the city now for $10 million, alleging the officers violated their civil rights. They also want Phoenix to fire the officers. The mayor has asked for the police chief to be present at today's meeting. The Supreme Court has granted a partial victory to 2 Oregon bakers who refused to make a cake for a same-sex couple. In 2013, Aaron Klein and his wife, then owners of Sweet Cakes by Melissa near Portland, they refused, you might remember this, to make a custom cake for a lesbian commitment ceremony, stating it would violate their religious beliefs. Well, in 2017, Oregon State fined the Kleins $135,000 for discriminating against a same-sex couple. Now, the Supreme Court has sent this case back to the state court and ordered the judges to take a new look at the case. Police in Des Moines, Iowa are announcing new details in the case of 4 family members found dead inside their home over the weekend. Police have confirmed 3 of the Sankara family were murdered and 1 died by suicide. 41-year-old Lavanya Sankara, her 15-year-old and her 10-year-old sons were shot and killed. Lavanya's husband, 44-year-old Chandra Sankara, committed suicide. Police, however, have not officially said who shot the mom and her 2 sons. A class of 4th graders in Pennsylvania, on a much lighter note, they're getting credit for making a pizza chain more eco-friendly. Students at Wallingford Elementary managed to get Uno's Pizzeria and Grill to change its straw policy. Each student wrote a letter to Uno's CEO, Jim Ilaria, explaining how plastic affects the environment and wildlife. Within weeks, he responded, changing the chain's straw policy for more than 100 restaurants. And that is not all. Aaron is so hungry right now and can't even look at that pizza.
I can't.
Ilaria stopped by the 4th grade class Friday, partying it up with Uno-style pizza for the whole class.
Is that what I have to do to get pizza?
Check it out.
Just to ask people to change their straw
I used
policy?
to work at an Uno's.
You did? I've never ate at
in
Uno's.
college.
Never even heard of Uno's.
Their shroom pizza, so good.
Yeah?
It's a white sauce. It's a white garlic sauce.
Do you hate
A lot
me?
of mushrooms.
Is that why you're making me even hungrier right now? I even ate breakfast this morning.
Did you?
I even ate food before I came into work.
A healthy breakfast?
It was a bowl of cereal.
Good for you.
I know. I actually ate something for once.
It might have been Cocoa Puffs, but short of that.
I had Cocoa Puffs, but I opted not to go for the Cocoa Puffs, okay? Jeez.
So that's your morning cupboard forecast. How's the rest of it looking?
Cocoa Puffs, always a good option. Hey, we still have some flood warnings across parts of the region, especially along the James River. Water levels are still forecasted to drop, though, even with the rain that we're going to see. And you can see that we still do not have any major or moderate flooding around, knock on wood. Hopefully that stays par for the course as we head into the rest of the week, even with these chances of rain off and on as we head into the early part of the weekend as well. Temperatures in the 70s for the most part. More for it coming up after the break.
It is a condition that affects millions of Americans and thousands of South Dakotans. Yet epilepsy is a condition that we rarely hear about here locally, and it affects both the young and old in ways we would all be better to understand. Simon Floss is joining us this morning with a preview of the first ever Epilepsy Foundation walk in Sioux Falls. Simon?
Yeah, good morning, Carlene. It is a huge weekend here in Sioux Falls when it comes to doing what you can to support those with epilepsy. Now, Tom and Sarah, you guys are with us here this morning. Tom, first let's just talk about epilepsy in general here in the Sioux Empire and why this specific cause.
Sure. Well, epilepsy affects about 9,000 people in our state. 1 in 10 people will actually have a seizure in their lifetime. 1 in 26 people suffer from epilepsy. And for me, my wife and our oldest son both have epilepsy. So what we've been trying to do is raise awareness about epilepsy here in Sioux Falls and our state.
And so this is the walk that's been going on. You know, is this the first year that you guys have been doing it? Is this something that you've been doing more often and more often?
This is the first walk to end epilepsy here in Sioux Falls. They've done walks across the United States. They did a national walk in Washington, D.C. But the Epilepsy Foundation has various chapters across the country. And so we're starting with this walk to try to jumpstart a chapter here in Sioux Falls.
And now let's just talk about how important is it that the walk is here in Sioux Falls?
It's very important. South Dakota has been an untapped market with regard to the Epilepsy Foundation. So we've really been searching for resources and information for families and those affected by epilepsy.
And Sarah, now let's just do the kind of nuts and bolts here. What do we need to know about the walk? When is it? Times and things like that?
Yeah, perfect. So registration starts at 8 and the walk will be at 9 o'clock. We have a ton of fun stuff going on. We have face painting, princesses coming, there's some bouncy houses. We also have shirts for people who have epilepsy. So if you registered and when you get there you can register too, you get a shirt if you have epilepsy and also if your team raises more than $50.
Very cool. And you know, KDLT has a part in it. I'll be out there emceeing. I know a lot of us are going to be out there coming to support too. We'll post the details on when you can sign up and where and things like that later this morning on our website at KDLT.com. Back to you.
All right. They have some special events and initiatives just for kids as well. It's an important topic. And Simon, thank you very much for having them out there this morning and taking part this Sunday. We'll have more information later this morning, by the way, at KDLT.com. In the meantime, 6:22 this morning. We're going to be back in just a couple minutes with a check on your forecast. Stay with us.
Hey there, good Tuesday morning and welcome back. We had some rain around the region yesterday, especially in the morning hours, and that slid down to the southeast as we head into the afternoon. Had about a 1/4 inch in Brookings and in Spencer, Mobridge as well. We had about 1/2 inch of rain down in Valentine when some of those showers and thunderstorms moved through Cherry County yesterday. Had a little bit of severe weather there as well. We have rain around the region this morning. No severe weather though. We have some heavier rain out by I-35, but back towards our area, Storm Lake seeing a little light to moderate rain up into Orange City as well, over by Lamar, Sioux City, and then back down towards Norfolk, Nebraska, seeing a little bit of rain here this morning. That's going to keep sliding off to the east. Some cloud cover from those storms here in the Sioux Falls area. 59 right now, northeast wind at 3 miles per hour. Around the region, a wide range of temperatures. We're at 47 right there in Watertown. We're at 64 though in Yankton with 50s in between. And as we head into the rest of the day, the rain in Iowa, that's going to be sliding out of here. Then we turn our attention to the west. Showers, thunderstorm chances increasing later on today, sliding down to the south and to the east as we head into the overnight hours. Not really expecting any sort of severe weather, but you may hear a couple of rumbles of thunder. And we could pick up a quick 1/4 inch across parts of central South Dakota, higher amounts in the Black Hills. Highs for tomorrow, very similar to today in the 70s for a lot of us. As we go through the rest of the week, we're going to pick up a good chunk of rain across parts of the region. Some of us seeing more than an inch, and temperatures are going to be holding pretty steady in the 70s as we head into the weekend.